man, she's going to be mad at me. They're not done, they're just starting these things. Well, you know, I try to figure out, because it's hard to connect when you're connecting with kids. We have a lot of kids that come from low socioeconomic. And we have kids who come from culturally diverse backgrounds. And my tie-in was this. I said, man, I got to get, because this time of year, my 4th and 5th graders, it gets tough. They're tired, and it's just, I don't know, keeping them interested. This is going to be a skate park. So this is our deal. This is our, you guys are going to love it. I think this is really cool. So they made last week their little skateboards. Isn't that cool? And so then they got, these are their quarter pipes. And when we did quarter pipes, I explained to them how that all got started with the pipes that the skaters used to ride in out west, the flood pipes, which are big pipes, and they could go around inside those pipes where you take 1/4 of the pipe, and that's where you get quarter pipe from. And if you have both sides, you have a half pipe. So we did fractions, and I explained that to them. I kept saying, man, skaters, they just know so much about fractions. Well, that was building up those kids who were skaters. So then today, my first class started making their skaters. All right,
that is very cute.
and we're going to actually get them on their boards. And this one was funny. I had some really cute, I just grabbed 2. There were a lot of neat ones, but I thought that's kind of funky.
Can you hold that up so I can get a good picture of that?
Yeah. And they're going to, next week, they're going to put all of it together. I have a bunch of found objects. They're going to boost tires and stuff. I'm going to have them put graffiti on. They're doing, some of them already have done graffiti, and it looks really cool on their thing, you know, because, you know, graffiti is art. I know people like graffiti, but it's art. It's art, and it's art they relate to, because they think it's really cool. So we do graffiti on here. This part was one of the very first things we did. I'll show you this. Right here. And I had them all get up and pretend they were on a board, on their skateboard. And so we were facing this way. And we all had to make this circle, but then we got up and physically did it. And we had to turn our boards and do a 90. I said, skaters, they already know about angles. They already know what a 180 is. They already know what a 360 is, but they don't tie it in to math. But because, you know, you ask them how many degrees is a circle, they wouldn't know it's 360. But they do know it, because they know that when they take their skateboard and flip it off. So we did that. We were trying to see if we could do 180s and 360s. And of course they like that. But that really brings your math, you know, try to get the things into the real world. That's one of the biggest problems with math. Kids, what's the point of this? When am I ever going to use it? And that's our job, to help them see, yeah, this is a part of your life. You want to be able to know these things. And some things you already know. No one's ever told you how to tie it together, though. Here's what we did last year. And this was with 5th grade. And they just did a still life. But they had to build a pyramid. They had to build a cylinder. And they had to build a cube. And then they took other little objects and math papers and built a little still life.
Because one of the things that 5th grade is required to do is something called nets. And that's when you take a 3-dimensional object and it lays flat. What does it look like? So I remember going to you about that. I said, help us. They couldn't do it. You have to see it.
Visually see it. And that's the thing as an art teacher. And communicate with your art teachers, because I see things that a lot of them don't see, because I can see where they're visually lacking, and they just can't see it. You know? This one is another one for social studies. I saw it laying there. This is what we're doing right now with my STEM 1st grade. They studied the earth. So we did fancy designs. This is going to be the core and the mantle, and this is the crust. And they're going to paint those, because I just got them out of the kiln. They haven't been to me yet this week. And so they'll paint these different colors. And then this side is the United States and Canada and South America. And we were studying texture and patterns, so we got the textures going. Plus we're incorporating, you know, their studies on the earth. And
that's amazing for 1st grade.
Yeah, they've done a really good job. This one, well, Jerry Lynn, she is a good artist, I would tell you that. She does a good job. Now, one other thing that I thought might be helpful to you guys is books, because when you get in your classroom ways of sort of simplifying, organizing, and I didn't have time, and afterward I got going. It was the last minute I grabbed these, and I thought, you know, it would have been really good if I got a bunch of stuff to show you, because bookmaking or organizing kinds of things using art can really make it a lot more fun. So right now with our team that's doing the tutoring in the morning, this is our tutoring portfolio. We didn't have time to do much. You could do a lot more because it was kind of in a big hurry. And so we got the buttons here, and they got the little latch. And what this is, you open it up like this, and the paper bag now has its little files. You got one here, and you got one here. And I took his papers out, but the papers and everything go right down in here. And basically, it's an Winn-Dixie bag, and you're taking this portion of the bag down here, and you're cutting it. You're cutting it off here, and here, and here. So it's the bottom of the bag, and you're leaving one flap on and cutting off. And then this part, once you've done that, can be actually opened up this way, or you can just leave it. I just leave it like that. And that creates these little files. So you could be doing a social studies unit, you know, or something, and you could use, you know, a little filing system that you could create.
They love stuff like that.
They do, and they love getting there.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, they don't want anybody touching it or bothering it. And then I just hot glue these on, and you just latch it like that. So that's kind of a neat idea to use. You can purchase books like this, and in 4th grade, Mrs. Benoit, not Mrs. Benoit, Mrs.
Stevens Williams.
Retired.
Gilchrist.
Gilchrist, Janice Gilchrist. She's a great teacher. And every year she organized this big book day. All the kids in 4th grade wrote a book, and all the 4th grade teachers worked on this. And they would have the parents come in, and they would have like a cafe. Mm-hmm. And parents would come in and sit down. It was during the day.
Young Authors Conference.
Yeah, it was a Young Authors Conference. Mm-hmm. Well, they would make books. Well, get with your art teacher, because they would get with me, and we did all the illustrations in art. We did them on separate pieces of paper that I pre-cut, so that then they could be glued in, because you don't want to work in the book, because they'll mess it all up. They'll get it all a big mess. But you can, and they had the typed stuff or handwritten stuff, and they glued that in, and everything got glued in on their books, including the covers. I don't have any copies. The kids took them home.